All right, welcome everybody. My name is Mariceli Vargas, and I'm the Director of Student Life and Activities here at Central Texas College. Today, we're so happy that we're finally getting to start our very own podcast here. And we're just super excited about the possibilities that this has, all the things that we can do with this. We are having our very first episode of Eagle Talk. So, welcome to one and all. We hope that you find this fun and interesting. We do want it to be interactive. Right now, we're recording this live. You can watch us on Facebook, Twitch, and Discord. So if you want to join us in one of those platforms, let us know if you have any questions or comments based on what we're going to be talking today. We would love to hear from you. It's a great opportunity for you if you're either a current student, a future student. Shoot, if you're a parent of a student and you have questions, this is the perfect opportunity for you to get some of those questions clarified. We want to make sure that you know what's going on, that you feel comfortable, that you learn from our experiences and mistakes, and that if there's something we need to address, let us know too. I mean, that's the whole point of it. We just want to know what's going on with you guys. This last year has been kind of weird. We really haven't had a lot of students. I've been working to figure out a better way to communicate with students, not just in Texas, but also outside of Texas. So if you're coming in from outside of Texas or any other location outside of Killeen, please type it in. Let us know where you're from and where you're located. That's going to be a great opportunity for us to be able to interact with you and let us know, if there's something that you really want to know about or talk about. Sometimes it's just about talking through things or kind of learning from each other. So I hope that you find this to be a fun experience, and we hope to do more of these in the future. And we invite you to join in live. And then if you can't join in live for some reason, then please go ahead and watch the replay. We're planning on putting it on all the platforms, including the Central Texas College YouTube page. So please, you can rewatch it in Twitch or in the YouTube page in the future. I want to introduce to you my panel, my group of friends that actually are going to be participating today, and I'm really excited. These are the people that make my job a lot easier and definitely fun. I want to start with my right hand. I don't know, in my screen, she seems to be on this end. Her name is Jennifer Parcell. She's my office assistant, and she's the one who keeps me sane. Do you want to say hi, Jennifer?
Hi.
Then I have, oh my God, I have known him since I started here working in CTC in Texas. During the pandemic, he has kept me sane on a whole bunch of different levels. And so I want to introduce you Bruce Vasbinder, and he can tell you what his title is because I don't know.
No.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bruce Fassbinder. I'm the coordinator of community relations here in the marketing department, and primarily reaching out to our media and responding to media inquiries, sending out press releases, and putting the news and events on our website, which I encourage you to check out. So if you want to stay abreast of all the things going on around campus, I have handled a little bit of that and making sure that you get that information, along with Mariceli and the people that work with me in the marketing department. So we're kind of the conduit to the information for what's going on around campus.
Yeah, and we've ended up actually working a lot more during the pandemic than we had previously, and that's been actually kind of an exciting thing for, at least for me, because we always got along, but we didn't get the chance to work together the way that we have, and it's actually been a great experience. Between his knowledge and my knowledge, we have come up with some really interesting concepts and ideas, and
It's
this
my
is actually,
2%.
I'm sorry?
My 2% compared to your 98%.
Nah. No, he's always got my back, and that has been something that has made a really big difference, and it's really important when you feel like you have somebody that, supports you in that way. So thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Now, I also have here Babette Bob. She is my student worker, and she has been, right now, it's been like a year and a half, maybe, Babette, with me?
It's been 2 actually.
Two. Okay. So she's kind of the shy, introverted person that is finally coming out of her shell, and I'm super excited to see this. And She got here, just trying to get her education, coming into work and getting out. And now she has just become this integral part of our department. She's helping do all these live sessions. She's helping me do so many other things and support that I'm just very proud of her right now, especially during this last year when everybody's going, "Oh, but what? My God, what's going on?" She's like blossoming in front of us, which is really, really cool. So thank you, Babette, for being here today, and she's going to talk to us a little bit today about her experience as a student, um, which has been kind of a different path than maybe the traditional route. But the thing about CTC is that our students are really not, for the most part, traditional. There's always something that is slightly different for each individual. And so we want to explore that today as a student experience and what that means for different people, what that may mean for you as an individual. How did you start? How do you start? What are some of the things that you either had questions when you were starting, or now you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do next. I am totally lost. That's okay. That's what we're here for. So just let us know what's going on with you. This is where we really want to interact with you. Type in the chats. Let us know these are my questions or concerns or thoughts or whatever that may be. And we're going to go ahead and address them as we go along. So Babette, I guess I'm going to start with you. What was your inspiration to even come to college?
So, CTC was sort of a last resort. So right out of high school, I had this great opportunity for a job, but it was a contract job, so it only lasted a year. And then I had plans of joining the military that didn't quite work out. And a family friend of ours actually worked at CTC, and he was saying how great it is and how it's good to start off. So that's what I did. I it was an interesting process. Everything was sort of I usually like to have things planned. This wasn't planned. So I applied. Um, I didn't know about new student orientation at the time, so I ended up doing everything myself. So that was definitely a hard process. So I applied, I took the TSI, I had to take some developmental courses. I also had to change my degree plan a few times. But once I got to the right degree plan and taking the courses, I've been taking them online, hence my antisocialness. And it worked out great. And then, applying here as an employee and actually meeting people has been great.
Awesome. Awesome. So that's kind of something that I think a lot of students can relate to. I mean, you chose to go the online route, even though you were local and you could come in and do things. And I feel that there's a lot of probably students out there that might have had a similar situation where they're more introverted or maybe they have a situation where they can't come to campus and they feel more comfortable with doing online. So that's definitely something that I think we have, for better or worse, I don't know if it's unfortunate, but we have definitely seen that been forced on a lot of people during the pandemic, where a lot of the students, they didn't, well, I think for CTC, we didn't have an option. Everything had to be done through a computer. There was no, for the most of our students, there really wasn't an option to even come on campus or anything like that. I know we were working remotely. And so probably for you in that sense, it was easier because you had been doing that all along. But I know that not everybody is that way and not everybody has the same, experience. So if you have an experience similar or completely different, please let us know. We really want to talk about it, or at least share it with others, because I think it's important to know that. And then you said that, how about, like for admissions, did you even know what to do, or were you just like, eh?
I browsed the website. So, I did my own little research. But then so I had no idea that if you take the 2 years here, you only have to take the other 2 at the university that you transferred. I had no idea. Once my mom explained it, I was like, oh, okay, this is easier than I thought.
Mhm.
So that's why I had to change my degree plan, because I wasn't sure. So I went from trying to do my basics to computer science, which didn't really work out. I guess it wasn't my calling. So I landed at doing interdisciplinary because I transferred to the Central Texas A&M here in Killeen. So
So
it's
that was a better fit for you at that time?
yes.
So you started out with computer science, which a lot of people start out with one thing and then they end up with another, which I think is really interesting because I know that happened to me. I started out with computer science and then I had to take calculus because in my university I had to take calculus for that.
Ouch. Yeah, I think that's one common goal or one common thread between a lot of students is that when they come to CTC or a community college or start out, they have an idea of what they want and some don't have a clue what they want. And so they kind of find their way as they go. And, they take certain courses, then something strikes with them and says, oh, I'm interested in this, or I'm interested in that, or I definitely don't want to do this like I originally thought I wanted to do, because originally I was going into accounting. And when I realized all the numbers and the math and all, I said, no, this really isn't for me. So, taking different courses helped me realize, okay, this is where I need to be. This is what I want to do. And I think that's, like I said, a common thread for a lot of students. CTC offers them a chance to find their way and kind of weed out certain things and kind of put them on the right path. And we've got, we talk about career paths, we've got academic paths. So, and I think this is a perfect place for those students who really are trying to find themselves, and even is a great place for those who know exactly what they want, get those credits out of the way before transferring on or starting that career. So, we've got the best of both worlds here.
We do. And, there's a lot of people out there. I know I talked to, well, Jennifer, Babette, and I really, and Bruce lately too, because again, we've been working so much together. We end up having a lot of students that are like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm just going to take the basics. And we're like, well, interdisciplinary or general studies in the meantime, just start to get some basics, kind of get an idea of what college is like. But also, we have a lot of students that are like, I don't want to do college ever because that is not my thing. I don't want to sit down on a desk. I don't want to, I don't have the patience for it. I barely got out of high school because I hated that. And that's something that a lot of people are like that. And for better or worse, right now there are some trade jobs that you can make way more money than we do. That's for sure. Once you graduate and you go out into the workforce. So I don't, I can't diss that when I have, I meet people that are doing some of these trade jobs. I know welding is one of those that if you can get just that right job, you can make a lot of money and really don't have to work all year round if you don't want to.
And real estate.
Real estate too is another one. HVAC, construction trades, all those. And that's a great point that, those students who don't want to sit behind a desk, we offer so many hands-on training opportunities through our industrial tech and other programs. And even through like MLT, yes, there's classwork, but you're getting that hands-on training from the science aspect of things. And paramedic EMT, you're getting that hands-on training right there, not just sitting in a classroom. So again, best of both worlds and combining that. So, whatever your passion is or whatever you think you might be interested in, we have those avenues for you to pursue. And again, the hands-on, I think, makes a huge difference in helping students determine what they want to do. And again, that's not a bad thing. I hear that all the time. I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to do, but the students shouldn't beat themselves up over that. That's the thing. Don't worry about that. This is where you find what you want to do. This is where you find your path. This is where you find out who you want to be. And then if worst case scenario, you come out of it with a college degree and you find yourself marketable for a job somewhere, and then continue to find out who you want to be later on down the road. So, it's not necessarily a bad thing to not know right now.
I don't know. I know that I started out, like I said, I started computer science, went into business management, graduated with business management. Okay. And then it's like, well, what do I do now? And it's funny because I ended up, staying in education for most of my, career overall. Because I have education, and I have a background, my family, there's, my grandmother was an educator. She was a teacher, principal, all of that. And then, I'm like, well, I'm not like her. Well, guess what? I feel like more and more and more, I end up being more like her and, gaining some of those qualities because, yeah, for those of you that don't know, I'm also the conduct officer for the campus. So, that's when I feel more like a principal when, somebody gets in trouble. I'm like, really? What did you do now? Like, let's talk about this. What can we do better? I mean, I don't try to be a hard ass or anything, but I do take it seriously because, it's about safety. But I find myself, I'm like, what? I ended up in education. And yes, I have management part because I have employees and, budgets and things like that, which the business side of it came, is very important and it helped me get a good basis. But a lot of what I do is not really business oriented. A lot of what I do is really more about interaction and, the business gave me a really good foundation, but then I went on to do other things with it. So that's why a lot of times with degree plans, with degrees in general, I feel that it's a really great, it ends up giving you a good foundation and then you take that and run with it. So Babette, some of the things that I have to ask you before I forget. So like financial aid and stuff like that, how'd that work out for you?
That was definitely tricky because I had no idea about it. It went pretty smoothly once you fill out the information, and since I'm still living at home, my parents' income definitely hits that. And once I filled out the information, the first time I filled it out, I'm not sure. I remember coming up to campus with my mom, and they were telling us that it hasn't been processed yet. I didn't know that it takes that long. So every time I need to make sure that I fill it out on time, making sure giving financial aid department time to look it over and everything. So I'm ready for classes.
Yeah, I think I heard you and this was me kind of hearing you were like checking up on your financial aid yesterday, just like, hey, are we good? And I know that we have a lot of students that do that because, it feels like it takes a really, really long time just because that is like and it does up to a point, there's a process to it. You submit your application, the federal government does its thing, and then you apply to CTC, for example, or any school, whatever it may be. Then we have to match with the if once you're applied, and we have to match that record together in our system. And then a lot of times it's not really us, because the federal government, what they did, they were kind of sneaky about it. What they decided is, don't send us everything, send it to the school, have the school verify everything. So then they have us verify all this information, and it's stuck somewhere in our financial aid office, depending on how the staffing is and how many people are applying. Which for our case, I don't know, Bruce, how many students do we have on a good year worldwide?
Too many for Pearl and Lucette to deal with.
Right? So I mean, it's in a good year, we have all these students that are somehow using financial aid, and then we have a limited staff, and they're trying to balance all of that. Yeah, it could take some time to process, and to throw that on top of everything else, because of course it can't be easy. uh, then you have this a whole other thing where they have fiscal years, and like right now they're dealing with fiscal year 2021, and then they're dealing with fiscal year 21-22, and they're like, well, what fiscal year are you trying to take your classes based on what semester you're taking your classes? So I don't know. I know for me, understanding that back in the day was hard because now, okay, let me just say this. Back in the day, it was all paper based. And Jennifer, I know you know what we're talking about because you work with our financial aid office.
Uh,
It was,
I-
I would come in with my mom. She would bring the taxes, and somebody would just fill it out for us. She would sign because I couldn't sign, and let's go.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
it was no department. Oh, we got Department of Education, but it was still, you had to print it off and fill everything out and then have a file for that person. Now you do everything, technology, like with compared to whenever I was doing it until now is completely changed. Because my daughter just graduated and I'm helping her get enrolled in CTC. And she's one of the ones that I want to do real estate, no general studies, no this. I said, it's okay if you don't know what you want to do. Let's just get into something simple. I mean, general studies, that'll get you your foot in the door and we'll go from there. You don't have to have it automatic. I'm doing this and that's it. It's okay to change if you want to change. It's okay. But yeah, everything was all paper based. There was paper everywhere, binders everywhere. So by the time this time, compared to whenever I even applied to college, compared to now, it's taken, my daughter and I did it in, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. Back in the day, and Bruce knows what I'm talking about, we had a here and it was in the fine arts building and there was little desks with everybody working at each desk and they had to help you fill out everything. You had little stations, you had a number that you had to go up, kind of like at the DMV. Now, I mean, we had to go over there, get stuff signed. We had to walk every little thing. There was no new student orientation. After I was done registering in 97, we had to, we had to go, there was no tours, there was no orientation. So what my friends and I did was we walked around the whole entire school to see where our classes were to be more prepared. But nowadays we have all sorts of resources. Maricela, we have new student orientation. That's her baby.
yes, it is. I love it.
That everybody's taken care of. If we don't know the answer, we will find somebody who does.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
and-
And, we're definitely not making excuses for the number of students and the length of time that it takes to get all that financial aid stuff taken care of and processed. But what we're trying to stress is know the process.
Yeah.
Whenever you apply for that FAFSA and you talk to a financial aid rep here on campus, we have live chat, we have email, we have phone for them, so you can reach out to them. Make sure that you ask those questions. Make sure you know exactly a ballpark idea of how long it's going to take to get processed. What's your next step now that you've filled out the FAFSA? What do I do now? And what happens if they need more information? They're going to send you something if they need more information. So you need to fill that out as well. So you need to be prepared for that. So don't hesitate to ask those questions and find out exactly what your next step along the way is. Because, okay, I filled out my FAFSA, I'm done.
No.
That's not quite it.
Nope,
So
no.
as they'll tell you, that's not quite it. You've got to be prepared for each step so it'll go smoothly and a lot quicker, and you'll be done with that. You'll get your money quicker and register for classes and pay for and that kind of thing. So don't hesitate to ask those questions. Don't hesitate to talk to your financial aid rep and reach out to them. Like I said, live chat, email, phone. We've got them all for you. So options out there. So again, we didn't have those options back in my day, as Jennifer pointed out. So now they're out there. And as Maricela talked about and Jennifer talked about, the new student orientation, that is a great tool to learn every step along the way to getting through that first hectic semester of CTC, getting your degree plan situated, get your academic advising done, talking to faculty members to learn about how things are handled, class delivery and all that. Great tools. And so if you're a prospective student, I encourage you, when you find out about new student orientation, jump on it, take advantage of it. So, we're providing you all kinds of tools, and we want to make your experience here a successful one, an easy one, and as smooth as possible.
Well, I know one of the things, okay, so a lot of people have suffered through the pandemic, and we're gonna, we got to give it its due. It's been difficult for a lot of people. For me personally, in terms of work, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed working from home for a while. I mean, it's been something that's been different.
Mhm.
And thanks to the pandemic, we have things like us being able to do this podcast, which would never have been able to be done before. And it wouldn't have, or at least we would have had to do a lot more to, have it be acceptable. But we were able to get some materials to be able to do it, which we didn't have before. On top of that, like our new student orientation became online. Like in the future, we'll have some in person as well. But you know, we were able to reach students that I know I never seen, students, you know, or had been able to interact while I've been in Texas with students from out of Texas, sometimes, you know, out of country, because we have a, you know, we have classes in military locations all over the world and things of that nature as well. So we had a lot of students that were not the usual ones that we were helping. And all of a sudden we're like, wow, we're helping these students, you know, from all these other places that maybe before we were not able to serve, you know, the way that we
Yeah.
wanted. So for me, an ever optimist, or I try to be at least, even though I have to say Bruce and Jennifer have seen other sides of me, that are not so optimistic. But I think one of the blessings that have come out of this is that we have these new platforms, that we have these new opportunities. And so, yes, maybe you don't, you know, you're not in Texas, or you are coming to CTC, but you're not here quite yet, and you're going to miss new student orientation. Well, you know, look at the virtual one. Let's get some of that information virtually. We don't have any scheduled right now for, all of them right now are virtual, but if you want to schedule your next one, we're going to be having one. Actually, we're going to have a few coming up in August. So yeah, it's ctcd.edu/NSO for new student orientation. You just type that in, you can see the options that we have, and we're actually going to be adding some dates to what we have there right now. But you know, that's something that's been like a great opportunity for us, and I hope everybody takes the chance of it. I will say we try to help as many students as we can, even if it's not necessarily our area. I know that not everybody is like that, but we are those weird people, I guess, that, you know, if you contact us, we're like, I have no clue how to do that. Kind of like what Jennifer was saying, is like, I don't know, but I'm going to get somebody. Like yesterday, Jennifer was in this, we do a virtual tour also. It's an Eagle Spotlight session, and we had somebody who wanted to do aviation, and I didn't know, the person didn't fill out any information as to what they wanted to study. So we had no clue, you know, and as long as, you know, she came in and she was like, yeah, I want to do aviation. I was like, wait, stop. Let me see if I can get a hold of one of the pilot instructors, you know, one of the aviation instructors. And I did. Luckily, it was crappy weather yesterday and they couldn't fly, which was great for us because it ended up being, you know, I could get a hold of one of them, and he was like, yeah, just give me a few minutes. And he ended up talking to the student. And really bright student, by the way. She had all her ducks in a row.
Oh
And she's not even a senior yet. Like, she's going to be a senior, and she's like, I want the tour, I want this, I want that. And I was like, wow, I was not that put together. I was not that put together at all. But
a cool
she knew
thing.
what she wanted and she was working towards it. So,
Mhm.
you know, if you know what you want and you know, let's go for it. But if you don't, then you know, you can do these things like the tours and info sessions that we have, virtual info sessions also.
And that's one thing, Marisol, I want to jump on real quick. You had talked about the new student orientation and some of the things that have come out of the pandemic. Our CTC live sessions have been very helpful. We'll talk about that more in just a minute, but directly related to the new student orientation is our virtual information session. And granted, that is primarily geared to the prospective students, those who are considering CTC. But again, you know, reaching out to students across the globe, that's been one thing. And from my personal experience with that, I was able to help a student in Florida who was starting out at CTC, but also registered for classes at the University of Central Florida. Now, he was taking his basics with us and pursuing his engineering stuff with University of Central Florida. But because of that, we were able to get him the right degree plan, the classes that he needed, and also we were able to get him some money through a scholarship that was available. So he came out on top of that, and that's not my area of expertise. But as Mariceli said, the four of us here, we kind of like to help people when we can find the right subject matter expert, and we will get that done. Another example, there was a military student who was interested in aviation. He's transferring here to Killeen after he's out of the service now to take the aviation classes. So working with our counselors, Cherie Stover in particular, we were able to help him get his information on point, and so he could register in WebAdvisor, because you know you have to have your degree plan on file, you have to have your residency in order and all those kind of things. And so we were able to get him going, and so now he's registering for the aviation classes, and he'll be one of our students now. And he came, I believe he was stationed in California at the time, but his home base is Ohio. So again, through our virtual information session, he's tuned in and he's able to learn about what we offer and how to go about getting things done. So when he's here, and if you're even online, you can get those things done in a quick matter of fashion and not be so stressed about all those advising and admissions process things. So
Yeah.
take advantage of those virtual information sessions if you can. We offer them once a month. Usually they're the second Monday of the month. Our next one will be July 12th. It'll be an evening session, and we alternate between evening and afternoon. So I think we're going at 6 or 6:30 on July 12th. That's the next one scheduled. So again, and those are all on our website, ctcd.edu, and all those are listed there under the event. So if you're ever interested in any of the info sessions, new student orientation, CTC live sessions, they're all out there for you to take advantage of.
So, Babette, I'm going to come back to you. And can you talk to us a little bit about your advising experience with CTC and even with A&M? Because honestly, we work so closely with them. You know, it flows in a way that maybe it wouldn't otherwise if we weren't so close and we had so many agreements. But, you know, especially I know that you mentioned that you changed degree plans. How important was talking to your advisor during that?
Well, like you mentioned, some people know what they want and they get after that. I had no idea. I found out a bunch of people, you know, your junior, senior year of high school, your counselors are bugging you to send in college applications. I had nobody talk to me, nobody told me nothing. It was definitely a last minute thing. And like Bruce mentioned, don't hesitate to contact advising and find out. And I bugged them. I sent them emails. I came on campus like thousands of times because I forgot to ask some questions. And that's where the info sessions and new student orientation comes in to help, because you have everyone from every department to help you answer any questions you have. For me, admissions went pretty easy here at CTC, even though I changed my degree plan. Talking to advising was great. One advice I would give is the sooner the better, because once the semester starts, they're going to be crazy busy. So you will be waiting hours to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely the sooner the better. Come in, get it done.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, we have our staff right now where they're busy, but they're not slammed. There's a difference. If you want more of a quality time to be able to talk to people and really like go in depth, it's better to do it now. I mean, you can do admissions like a year in advance, and then, you know, take your time talking to somebody from advising, figuring out your FAFSA. I would say, you know, take your time doing all of that. You don't have to like super rush it, but the sooner you start working on it, the better it's going to be if something were to happen and you need to make an adjustment, a change, or something. And I know they try to keep up so hard in that building, and you know, but I know I feel bad when it's like the week before classes are supposed to begin for the fall. The line is out the door almost around the building, and you know that, you know, the everybody in that building and everybody that works during that time, you know, if they get a chance to eat and shove something in their mouth and, you know, keep running, that's what they're going to do, because they're just trying to help as many students as they can in a very short period of time. So if you can figure out how to do most of these things way before, then you are allowing only the people that need really that last minute help, because maybe their class was dropped or something was going on. You know, there's just all these other things that are happening. And so you can either come to our buildings. You know, we have locations around Texas and all over the world, like we mentioned. We also have our Eagle,
Eagles on call?
Eagles on Call. Thank you. Whew. Where you can do, you know, they can help you with a lot of that. If you have questions about admissions and advising, they can help you. They can do it via email. They have a chat. They have, you know, you can call them. And they actually work later in the day than our regular staff. You know, most of our staff, at least here in Killeen, Texas, most of us work 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon, Monday through Thursday. And then Fridays, we usually are 7:30 till 11:30. Now in the summer, again, little blessings that we get every once in a while. The administration decided that we can take, Fridays off, and so we're enjoying that right now. And I'm gonna say we're enjoying it, and we need to grab all that energy because the semester is about to rev up. So you definitely want to be able to contact them as soon as you can, and even if you're outside of Texas, that's Eagles on Call is a great option. And because they work at different hours, they work later. I want to say until like 11 at night, Central Time. That might help you if you're not in the Central Zone. You need to contact them. That might give you some options so that you can get assistance. Because I think they're here from like 7:30 in the morning till like 11 at night or something like that.
Yeah, they're here till 11. I just put, I just put the phone numbers in the chat for Texas students, and bear with me 1 second.
So for Texas students, it's 254-526-1226. 254-526-1226. For outside of Texas, though, which it would be their Eagles on Call, it's 254-526-1296.
And
And
they
then
are available 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh,
Wow.
6 a.m. Okay, so
Oh,
see,
wow.
that's even more. So
And-
again, if you're outside of Texas, again, we're worldwide, so we want to try to assist students as much as we can, wherever you're located. That's another option for you. I know personally, I've had to help students. I had one student I had to help in Japan, and we had to figure out that time difference. But I don't mind doing it because you know what? She was, able to be successful in the end, and that's what we needed to happen, and so we make it work. But yeah, we try to do what we can to definitely service and help our students.
Well, that chat didn't work. I was trying to type in the industrial tech number. Industrial tech students can use Eagles on Call, and it kind of cut the number off for me when I hit send. So I'm resending that so Mariceli can relay that to you. There we go.
Okay, so for industrial technology, which would be the building trades, actually we call it the CATE Center now, and I can't remember what CATE stands for, but it is
Career advising technical education or something. I'm not
Career and
100% sure.
Technical Education. I think it's
Yeah,
what it is
something
because
like
it's
that, yeah.
CATE.
Yes.
So they have their own advising because most of those classes actually occur here, at least in Killeen. I have to say this is for Killeen. In Killeen, it happens. They start around like 10 or noon during the day, and they end at like 10 o'clock at night. So they have like this big window.
And there, a lot of them are self-paced, and that's why they have that big window.
Yeah, so you have that opportunity, and they have their own advisors over there, amazing advisors as well. And if you're interested in that, you can just talk to them too. It's 254-526-1549, 254-526-1549. And so you definitely want to have the opportunity of talking to these individuals. If you don't know what you want to, and let's talk about, if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, let's talk about our career services. Because I honestly say that if you are in one of these tours and stuff, I will tell you that. It's like, so what do you want to be when you grow up? Because I'm still trying to figure myself out. And I really am, because I am constantly evolving into what I do and how I do it. Again, I started out, let's say, with business, and now I'm education. Now I'm becoming, more virtual. You keep adding things into your plate, no matter how old you are. So we do have a career center also that helps out. If you don't know what to do, they have this test online. Just take the test online. It's free. Go to their website, and then it tells you some idea, gives you some ideas as to what you can do, things that you might be interested in, what to do. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so Babette, one more thing. Registering for your classes. How was that? Because I know a lot of people are like, yeah. And then they're like, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. How do I do it?
I didn't know that we can register ourselves. I thought you had to go to advising. So I did that first off. Now what I usually do is I contact my advisor, making sure what classes I need next. and then I register myself.
Okay. I mean, how difficult is it to register? At least for our portal is called WebAdvisor. So for WebAdvisor, how difficult was it for you to register yourself?
It was easy. I found one of the videos on how to register. I believe it was, I want to say it was on the Facebook page that I found it on. And I was like, okay, this is easy. So with CTC, that's definitely what I did was I talked to my advisor, because the thing with here was I was looking at courses to graduate, the classes I needed to graduate with CTC. But then I also looked at A&M's transfer guides on what classes I needed to have done for over there. So that sort of made things a little difficult. So I definitely, talking to an advisor, getting the developmental courses out of the way, taking those, and then taking the classes that I need for both schools. With A&M, it was a little difficult first off because one, for advising. So the difference is here, the advisors, no matter what you want to study, I mean, I'm guessing besides aviation or like you mentioned, the Kate Center, you can talk to any advisor. At A&M, it's by department. So you have less advice, due to the department, whatever you want to study.
I didn't know
So-
that.
Mhm.
You
So I
learned
mean, well, I reached out to the wrong person. So,
But I learned something.
mhm.
So did Babette, apparently.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go on.
I mean, I was close, but it was the wrong department. So, because it's you've got the advisors for for the graduate students, and then you've got the regular undergrads, which what I am in. And so I reached out, and they told, I had no idea because I did computer science because I thought that's what I wanted to do. I was told, oh, you're good at computers, do this. A bunch of people say, do a career that is good for you financially. Okay, I understand that's important, but you also want to be happy. You don't want to get up in the morning and be like, oh, I gotta go to work.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have fun. And so it took me that one semester to, I felt like it was a waste, but then I learned from it. And now that I'm studying what I really want to study, I'm in psychology and I love it.
It's for me, honestly, it was interesting because, okay, first of all, not everybody has a chance to work with me, and I am that person that will like, how can I help you? Let's figure out how to do this, right? Because no matter what, she's a student, so I'm trying to help her figure out life in terms of, how is she going to do her academics, and do I see her excited? Because I will tell you, for the most part, like for example, I'm going to use the aviation example because it happened yesterday, right? I was talking with somebody. Those are in aviation and are really into that. It comes out of their pores, okay? You just know it. They come in, you can see them looking out the window at all times, trying to figure out how the weather is like. They have their little tablets and they're checking the weather and figuring out their patterns and stuff as to their next flight and all these things. So you see them excited about their courses and what they're doing, and even if they didn't do well in a class or for some reason, you see them really upset. They take it very seriously and they're like, no, I have to do this because I have to be successful. And so you have students that are like that. And for me, I kept seeing Babette at the front desk just like, yeah, well, like just kind of like, I'm doing it, but I'm not excited. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, what's going on? Why are you not excited? Well, and then finally she's like, well, this sounds more interesting to me. And I was like, okay, well, why do you want to do that? And then she started talking about it, and her expression changed completely. Like, this sounds fun. This sounds interesting. This is something that I want to do. I'm curious about it. And I think that that's something a lot of students lack is, maybe somebody kind of helping them go, hey, so what's your thought process? Why are you not excited about school? What's going on? Now, there could be many reasons, personal reasons and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, do the academics really excite you? Now, of course, everybody's going to have that one class that you don't like, and you just have to suck it up and do because it's part of your degree plan. And yeah, you do it. But with her, it was every single class. There's something wrong if you're not feeling every single class that you're taking. So I'm really proud of her because she actually figured it out before it was too late.
Yeah.
That's another thing, the sooner you figure it out, the better, just because you're not wasting time, money, and energy. So, it
And don't
helps.
be swayed into, like Babette was, take a career or something that's going to benefit you financially. Yes, finance is important, money is important, being secure in your future is important. But if you're going to be stuck in a rut, you're not going to be happy with what you're doing, well, what's the point, really? So, if you can break away from that mold and find something like Babette did that excites you and gets you motivated, gets you going, you're going to be so much happier. And things are just going to fall into place financially for you. But, don't hesitate to explore that side of you, and get out there. Don't feel like you have to, I need this because it's going to pay the most. That's important, but at the same time, your mental health is a lot more important.
Mhm.
Yeah, my mom was pushing college. My dad was mentioning, oh, trade school. And I didn't really see myself in trade school, so I ended up at CTC. And I don't want to. Nobody wants to be like Marcel mentioned. College isn't for everybody, and I thought it wasn't for me. But it's mostly the homework. You don't want to be in school forever. You don't want to, because it feels like it's just so long. You graduate high school. Oh, great, college. And then if you do something major like wanting to be a doctor, whatever, med school, things like that, you're in school forever. And I actually have to go back to A&M for my master's. So even though I'm not looking forward to it, I know it's going to be great in the end. So it's definitely been, yes, I don't like homework. I don't like having to make time to do the homework. But once you see yourself on that stage at graduation, it is all worth it.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely, definitely, and that's a very key thing that you just hit on, Babette, because a lot of the students will want to graduate high school and they're done with the school. I'm done with school right now, but for career advancement, unless you're fortunate enough to land in a great job out of high school that doesn't require a college degree or certification, you're going to need college at some point. And let me just tell you from a personal experience, the longer you put it off, the harder it's going to be to go back. The homework is going to be a lot tougher for you because you're out of the habit. The going to class is going to be tougher because you're out of the habit. Paying attention is going to be harder because you're out of the habit. So I encourage you that if you know that you need college education to succeed with whatever career choice you're going to make, get it done. And Babette is a prime example going for that master's. She's not going to hesitate from her bachelor's to the master's because that's where a lot of people kind of fall down the rabbit hole, so to speak. They'll stop their bachelor's, say, I'm going to work for a while, and then I'll go back and get that master's. And the master's is great for promotions and career advancement and all that kind of thing, which is very important. But at the same time, just continue that school so you don't fall out of the habit. And that way you keep your study habits sharp, you keep your habits of going to class and focusing sharp, and you don't lose that. So again, just a little tidbit of advice.
Well, and the thing about it is that even though, okay, so she's, one of the things Babette mentioned is, I'm not a I don't like homework. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing that. Well, yeah, none of us do. But that aside, if you're excited about the field that you're studying, which is kind of the difference,
Mhm.
yeah, you don't want to do the homework. Yeah, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. But it's a lot easier to focus on it and to be able to get through it because it's interesting to you, and you can see, like you said, the goal of this or that. Her case, she's interested in psychology, so yeah, that's one of those degree plans that requires more education than just a bachelor's if that's what she wants to practice. Or for most things with psychology, you have to have, if you want to practice psychology, you have to have a graduate degree.
Mhm.
But even if you don't require a graduate degree necessarily and you want to go for it, it's going to be way more interesting if if you like it, if you have fun with it, if it's something that you want to do. So thank you, Babette, for letting, kind of talking to us a little bit about your experience and letting us kind of fill in some of these blanks, because I hope that anybody who sees it in the future, um, is going to understand that it's okay for things not to be perfect, that it's okay for you to learn throughout this process, and that there's way more at the end of it.
And I noticed that she's been a much happier person once she switched over, because she works at our front desk. She's an amazing person. I love her so much. But you could tell that she was just like, it was like drained out of her. And once Maricela talked to her and got her, back on there, she was like, oh, okay. And then now that she's doing something that she loves and understands, then she's like, oh, and so now she's happy. And it makes me happy to see her happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And to that end, let me just add, if you don't know where you're going, like Babette has figured out, don't be drained and don't be sad and don't be mopey. Just be happy that you're advancing your education, you're advancing your career opportunities, and look at it as a step-by-step process. Yes, I'm taking these classes and I'm working my way to finding out exactly who I want to be.
Yeah.
So again, that should excite you in itself. So
Yes.
use that as your launching pad.
I'm so
Yeah, it's an adventure. What'd you say? Jennifer, say it because I think it's important. Come on.
what?
What
I'm-
you just said, repeat it.
Oh, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Aren't we all to some point?
But it's fun when you have an adventure, and then you're also part, of a team that is supportive. And, we hope, even if you don't find anybody else on this school, which I hope you do, but you got us.
Yeah.
You just kind of met us. And you're still willing, you're welcome to contact us, and we'll do what we can to help you.
Yeah.
And, we want you to feel like you are part of a group and that somebody cares. And that's who we are. I know that's who I am. And I'm student life and activities. Yes, activities are fun. Student life, clubs, organizations, they're amazing. But my umbrella, I fall under student success and persistence. And if you are somebody who feels all of that support, then you're going to be more successful and you're more likely to persist into whatever you're going to do. So let us help you. Let us be there for you. I mean, that's honestly, let me tell you this. This is me, and I'm just being honest with you. There are parts that are tedious of this job. Any job you're going to do, it's always going to be tedious. Kind of like what Babette was saying. Nobody wants to do the homework. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to do that. But in my case, what makes me happy is helping a student be successful. That, and Jennifer, and I think all three of them have seen it happen, where I just go, yes, I just made a difference, or at least I feel that I made a difference.
You do.
That is what makes me happy. And I know for sure I've seen Bruce be the same way. Like, yes, I made a difference into a student, and he doesn't get to deal with students anywhere near as much, but every time he has a chance, he grabs onto it with your life. And the same thing, Babette and Jennifer, I mean, they work with me. So my enthusiasm goes into them, definitely. And let's figure out how to help them. And then Jennifer's been here for a while. I mean, between at least the three of us, we've covered CTC for quite a while. I'm not necessarily going to say how many years, but we got you. Believe me, we got you. And so if we don't know it, we find out. We know people that know people. In a good way, not in the shady, underhanded way.
We're not going to break anybody's kneecap kind of way.
No. Even though it's in somebody's bloodline, I'm not going to mention which one. Anyway. But we got you. feel comfortable talking to us, participate in our events. And with that, Bruce, can you talk to us about some of the things? I know we talked a little bit about some of
Sure.
the things that we do, but maybe if you could kind of highlight some of the things that all of you can expect coming up, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, let me pull this up real quick so I don't forget anything. That's my main thing is I don't want to leave something out. We have an events calendar online and a list under the news section of About CTC on the main webpage, and you'll see a whole list of activities coming up. And the library primarily has really taken a hold and done a lot of virtual events. Like this week, they're celebrating Martial Arts Week, so they've got demonstrations this week. Tomorrow is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu demonstration, and on the next day, the 24th, is a Taekwondo demonstration. And if you missed today, today was all about Kung Fu. So we've got a virtual tour of the night sky coming up. We have our Mayborn Science Theater, our planetarium. We have a resident astronomer there, Warren Hart. He does a great tour of this night sky. We'll point out all the constellations, everything that you can see in the night sky. As we mentioned before, we've got our virtual info session coming up on July 12th. That is from 6 to 7 p.m. And again, that's geared primarily towards prospective students. So if you want to, even if you're a student, you want to learn about the financial aid process or admissions or advising anything, find out how all that stuff is done, tune into that. And speaking of financial aid, we have financial aid, a CTC live session, the first Tuesday of every month. And that next one will be coming up here on July 13th. And again, that'll be a WebEx feature or on Facebook, and you can meet Lucette, our loan officer, and then Pearl Crevison is the director of financial aid. They will give you all the ins and outs about the FAFSA, filling that out, the deadlines, the dates, what to expect, the whole nine. And we also have that same for our those students who are in the military through Veteran Services. We have a recurring CTC Live the first Thursday of every month, and the first one will be July 8th. And Patrice Kennison is our Veteran Services representative, and she talks a different subject about education benefits for military students every month. And feel free to ask her questions because it is totally interactive. July 14th, we have a CTC Live on licensed massage therapy. If that's a field of interest for you, that's a program that's just kicking off for a degree. It was certification through continuing ed before, but now it's going to be a degree offering here, so you can get the ins and outs on that and ask questions about that if massage therapy is a career that you're interested in. And then, of course, we'll be back on July 19th talking about student housing here with the Eagle talk, but we've got some other CTC Lives coming up on the math department, the TSI testing and all that. All those things that students have questions about but are not sure where to ask. We kind of put those in a CTC Live format, and it's interactive. As I said, you tune in. We have representatives, subject matter experts that will guide you through it. And then if you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat or talk to them out loud. That's no problem. And then we also store those on our YouTube page. So if there's something that you might have missed, or if you missed that session in particular, you can always go back to it on YouTube and rehash it and replay it and save it as many times as you need to. So we're putting the events out there, and we're talking about a welcome week coming up the first week in the fall semester, but that's way out in the future, and we'll talk about that more. And I know that's something that's near and dear to Mariceli and all of us here because we've got different things planned, virtual and in person. So we're excited about those things coming up. So as we all talked about, we want your experience here at CTC to be successful, not only in the classroom, but socially as well. So that's why we're offering you some different interaction activities, especially with Jennifer and Babette and Mariceli and Student Life to meet others and get involved in student clubs and organizations and those kind of things. But for student events that we've got, or campus events, always check the CTC webpage and click on news, and there's an events calendar there, and you can click on that and get a whole list and contact information and the times and all that of what's coming up. So again, we don't want you to say, I didn't know about that. We're giving you tools to know about these things. So that's the key. Look them up and be a part of CTC.
Yes, that's very upsetting to Bruce every time anybody says that. It just hurts him, like a little piece of him just
It
dies.
does. It really does.
I put this information out there. Please just look at it and know we're trying. And if you guys have and if you guys have a better idea as to how to send the information out, please, we're open to that too. We're trying all these different new things to try to talk to you guys, answer questions, get the information out.
Check social media as well. We're out there on Facebook and Twitter and all of these Twitch and Discord and Instagram platforms. We're out there. So we're putting all the events and all those campus news out there as well on those platforms as well.
Check your student email.
Oh my God,
yes.
yes.
That's another key one. So Eagle Mail's
That-
having a few issues right now with some slanted emails, but they're working through that. So, but yeah, check your email because your Eagle Mail is how your instructors stay in touch with you. If there's a change in class or if there's a new assignment that they need to get to you, they're going to do it through email, not your regular email. And so you need to make sure you stay on top of that. So,
And financial aid too.
yes,
Some of these
exactly.
different
Financial aid.
departments that we were talking
Yeah.
about today, you definitely want to make sure that you talk to them. I feel a little bit bad because I know like when the pandemic hit, I had at least one professor, Professor Lyles, God bless him. He and I say this with utter love because he was just trying to get a hold of all his students. He couldn't, and he reached out like, "Oh my God, what can I do? What else can we do to try to get a hold of them?" Because he really, really wanted to talk to his students, and they weren't checking their Eagle Mail. So make sure you do that.
Yeah.
Also, for that massage therapy thing, we send out so we have this degree plan, it's new. I'm pretty sure they're going to do this again. So the students have to practice doing these massages. I'm just saying, they'll put that out and
Yeah.
and they do it you still have there is a fee for it, but it's
Mhm.
significantly less than if you go to one of these other salons. I can guarantee you that.
Yes.
So please, 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 take advantage of that and support our students. There's more than one way to support our students, and that's one of them. Sometimes they just need people to practice on. I am always up for that because self-care is an important thing. But, if nothing else, guys, you remember, there's different ways to support our students and for you to participate in different events. Sometimes that's it. Anyway, I think we're about to wrap this up. We have been talking for over an hour, but we have so much information to talk to you guys about, and we got so excited about everything. I want to thank everybody that participated. Bruce, Jennifer, thank you, Babette, for kind of sharing your personal story and kind of hopefully helping students figure out themselves. We are here for you. Remember that. And please tune in for our second episode of Eagle Talk, which is going to have to do with housing here on campus. So we will see you then. You have a great day.
Take care.